International marketing environment. We all know that environmental factors are external effects that cannot be managed. Before entering into international market, a company must analyze the international marketing environment very carefully because the future of the company depends on this analysis only. In this lesson, we will learn the importance of political, legal, and regulatory environment, the socio-cultural framework, the relevant aspects of the economic and environment, and the challenges in global marketing. After going through this presentation, you should be able to discuss the socio-cultural environment, understand legal and regulatory environment, examine economic environment, explain the political environment, analyze technological environment, identify challenges in global marketing. Multinational corporations operate in different host countries around the world. Each host country has its own society and culture, which is different in many important ways from almost every other society or culture, although there are some commonalities. The sum of all learned attitudes and behaviors that influence how a person thinks and behaves. As a sum, these influences may be associated with more than one culture. The main elements of culture are attitudes and beliefs in every society. There are norms of behavior based on attitudes, values, and beliefs that constitute a part of its culture. Attitudes towards time. Everywhere in the world, people use time to communicate with each other. In international business, attitude towards time are displayed in behavior regarding punctuality, responses to business communication, responses to deadlines, and the amount of time that is spent. Attitude towards work and leisure. These attitudes affect the types, qualities, and numbers of individuals who pursue entrepreneurial and management careers as well. Attitude towards achievement. Cultural differences in the general attitude towards work are also accompanied by significant national differences in achievement motivation. Attitude towards change. The international manager must understand what aspects of a culture will resist change and how the areas of resistance differ among cultures. Attitudes towards job. The type of job that is considered most desirable or prestigious varies greatly according to different cultures. Cultural dimension. The influences of the religious, family, educational, and social systems of a society on the business system comprise the cultural dimension of our picture. The cultural characteristics that may lead to differences in the values apparent in buying decisions are quite varied. Every country has its own legal forms of organizations to deal with business. Firms doing business in the United Kingdom have three primary choices for the legal form of organization: British branch, limited company, or partnership. India also follows an almost similar organization to deal with the business firms. In the US, a business is able to select from among these forms: sole proprietorship, partnership, and corporation. The intellectual property is the creation of human mind, the human intellect, hence the designation intellectual property. It includes copyright, patent, and industrial designs. Intellectual property also includes trademarks, service marks, and appellations of origin. Trademarks help manufacturers build consumer loyalty. The subject matter of copyright protection includes work in the literary, scientific, and artistic domain, whatever the mode or form of expression. The most significant problem is one of pirated or counterfeit products, especially for popular products. Both governments and individual businesses have interests in stopping piracy and some grey market practices. The counterfeit merchandise looks on the surface to be the real article, but is really a knockoff, taking a free ride on the advertising and popular success of the genuine product. Grey market goods pose several problems for intellectual property owners. The primary problem may be the disruption they cause to networks of authorized distributors and dealers, who feel undercut by the lower priced goods. Economic systems. There are three types of economic systems: capitalist, socialist, and mixed. This classification is based on the dominant method of resource allocation: market allocation, command or central plan allocation, and mixed allocation respectively. A market allocation system is one that relies on consumers to allocate resources. In a command allocation system, the state has broad powers to serve the public interest. These include deciding which products to make and how to make them. All market systems have a command sector, and all command systems have a market sector. In other words, they are mixed. Next is market development stages. Development economics is a branch of economics which deals with economic aspects of the development process in low-income countries. Its focus is not only on methods of promoting economic growth and structural change, but also on improving the potential for the mass of population and workplace conditions, whether through public or private channels. International country markets are at different stages of development: trade, exchange rates, budget balances, and interest rates. Stages of mixed system terms such as global village and world economy have become very fashionable. Next is international economic system and income and purchasing power parity. When a company charts a plan for global market expansion, it often finds that for most products, income is the single most valuable economic variable. Differences in real income between countries at different stages of economic development, the use of exchange rates tend to exaggerate. Majority of the MNCs have to face complex political environment problems because they must cope with the politics of more than one nation. That complexity forces MNCs to consider three types of political environment: foreign, domestic, and international. Political systems. In order to appraise the political environment of a country, the knowledge of the form of government of that country is essential. Next is political risk analysis. There are a number of political risks which are to be faced by international marketeers. The risks which the marketeers face from the host government are confiscation, expropriation, nationalization, domestication, and creeping expropriation. Confiscation is the process of a government taking ownership of a property without compensation. Expropriation differs from confiscation in that there is some compensation, though not necessarily just compensation. Nationalization involves government ownership, and it is the government that operates the business being taken over. In domestication, foreign companies relinquish control and ownership either completely or partially to the nationals. Next is management and measurement of political risk. To manage political risk, an MNC can pursue the strategy of either avoidance or insurance. Avoidance means screening out politically uncertain countries. MNCs can increase and maintain their bargaining power when their technical, operational, and managerial complexity requirements are not within reach of the host country's abilities. Operational flexibility can be achieved through flexible input sourcing and multinational production. Pervasive or diversified in scope, technological changes affect many parts of societies. These effects occur primarily through new products, processes, and materials. The technological segment includes the institutions and activities involved with creating new knowledge and translating that knowledge into new outputs, products, processes, and materials. First is dwindling communication. It means increasingly that in the international marketplace, information is power. Next is Internet and World Wide Web, a technology with important implications for business in the Internet, sometimes referred to as the information superhighway. It provides a quick, inexpensive means of global communication, that is, with strategic alliance partners, and access to information. Internet produces a fundamentally different environment for international marketing and requires a radically different strategic approach affecting ale aspects of marketing process. Next is modems. Modems are important for connecting personal computers to phone lines that help gain access to the internet. Next is high-speed digital stream. To obtain technology to deliver a high-speed digital stream that can be viewed as movies, websites, or advertising on televisions with its equipment. Satellite imaging. Another new technology that is gaining rapid popularity is satellite imaging. Several aerospace companies have invested up to $1 billion in corporate Earth imaging systems. Involvement in global markets presents the marketeers with a number of challenges. These challenges influence competitive advantage in global markets and in part determine how readily the firm can achieve economies of scale and scope as well as realize synergies from operation in a multi-country environment. Four interrelated challenges of global marketing strategy are change, complexity, competition, and conscience. Rapid change pervades all aspects of operations in global markets as well as the context in which they take place. Technological change renders product development, production processes, and experience rapidly obsolete and contributes to escalating investment costs as well as heightened competitive pressures. A second challenge arises from the increasing complexity of managing international operations. Increasing intensity of competition in global market constitutes yet another challenge facing companies at all stages of involvement in international markets. The fourth challenge relates to the firm's moral and social responsibilities in the global marketplace. Another area of social responsibility of particular relevance in international markets is concerned with customer education and general well-being. Product safety standards should also meet the most exacting international standards, even in countries where no such regulation exists. Firms must take the responsibility to provide accurate information to the industry and regulatory bodies and to educate consumers and distributors to ensure appropriate usage. Now let us check if we have understood the various concepts discussed in this lesson clearly. The process in which a company is totally taken over by the government is called nationalization. Right or wrong? Right. In all the societies, the patterns of behavior are based on modem. Right or wrong? Right. The most important and concerning issue before the international marketing is the rapidly changing market environment. Right or wrong? Right. Before we end, let us briefly revise what we have studied so far. The framework for analyzing the international business environment includes the analysis of the geographical, political, economic, socio-cultural, political, and legal environments. In order to analyze the political scenario of the nations, the companies must know the type of political system that exists in that nation. It must analyze the political risks associated with business and should learn how to manage those risks. The most important characteristic of the international market environment is the economic dimension. It includes the analysis of the world economic systems, development status of the countries, the purchasing power across nations, and income of the population. A technology with important implications for business in the Internet, sometimes referred to as the information superhighway. The major challenges facing the international marketeers today are coping with change, understanding complexity of the changing markets, dealing with competition, and performing social responsibilities.